after graduating from college, I moved to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And if you've never lived in the district in the summertime, let me tell you, it's humid as fuck. And naturally so, because D.C. was built on a swamp. And if building a city on a swamp guarantees at least one thing, it's that the summertime is hot as fuck. It's extremely hot, extremely sticky. You don't really want to be outside. So in DC, I worked in DuPont Circle, and most days I rode my bike. But this one particular day I decided, nah, I'm going to take the bus. I'm going to take public transportation, and I rode the bus. And it's rush hour traffic, and everyone and their mother is tense. It's hot as fuck, and people are tired and grumpy and cranky pants, and no one wants to be touching anybody else on this bus. And I'm one of the lucky ones because I have a seat. And I know this, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad I have a seat. And I'm sitting there kind of minding my own business, and I see someone sitting diagonally from me, and he is occupying 2 seats, which I don't know if you know about public transportation bus etiquette in Washington, D.C., but that is a big no-no. You are only supposed to take your seat. However, I noticed that the man is blind. So he is sitting in his seat. The seat next to him has his backpack, and underneath the seat, resting by his feet, is his seeing eye dog. I'm like, all right, yeah, use that seat for your bag, okay. And so I'm sitting there, and at the next bus stop, a whole bunch of people come on board, and everyone is also very tense. You can cut through the crustiness in the air with a knife. It's just that sort of tenseness in the air. It's just everyone's ready to go home and get home as quickly as possible. So this one particular man comes on the bus, and he's really amped up. You can tell he wants a seat. And he looks at the bag, and is like, what the fuck is that bag doing on that seat? You know, it's just something that you can see in his eyes, or I see it. And so what he does, instead of asking the man, the blind man, to move the bag, he picks up the bag, shoves it in the blind man's lap, and proceeds to also elbow the blind man as he's doing this. The blind man, who is obviously blind, cannot see this is happening, and shouts out, "Bus driver, help me, I'm being attacked." And I'm like, oh my god, this is happening, like right in front of my face, and I'm like, oh. And so I jump up and I say, hey, if you want a seat, take mine, take my seat. And he ignores me because he's really hell-bent on telling this man that he's not supposed to have 2 seats. And so I'm like, and all of a sudden this older woman stands up and says, can't you see the man is blind? And rude man is like, what? And he notices oh shit, this man is blind. And there's that tension in the air of like, what do we do in this situation? And instead of owning up to the fact that he made a humongous mistake, he just gets more belligerent and defensive. And so I stand up again and say, hey, here's my seat, take my seat. And he says, I don't want your seat, chink. Oh. And I was like, dude, wrong move. Wrong move. You assaulted a blind man, and now you're calling me chink? Like, what the fuck? So this older woman, who is my hero, says, you need to get off the bus. And I was like, yeah, just standing next to her, I was like, yeah, I feel fierce. Get off the bus. And so then every passenger now is like, get off. They're not saying it, but you can see in their eyes, like, you need to get off the bus. And everyone's like, yeah. And so then, unknown to me, my friend is also on the bus, and she comes up and stands next to me. She's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm all right. And so then, Rude Man sees two girls standing together and says, lesbians. And I was like, oh, okay, so not only are you bullying blind people, racist, and now you're homophobic. You know, it's like, 3 strikes you're out, buddy. And so, again, the older woman is like, get off the bus! And at the next bus stop, thankfully, he gets off the bus. I turn my attention to the blind man and say, sir, it's okay. You're going to be okay. That rude man is off the bus. You're going to be all right. And he says to me, thank you so much. You're my hero. And I'm like tearing up. And the next stop is mine. And so I say goodbye to my friend Sarah. I say goodbye to the blind man. I say goodbye to my hero, the older woman. Get off the bus, and I just start crying. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. Because it was the most emotionally charged bus ride I'd ever been on in my life. But the great thing is that I walked away to my house feeling so good for doing what is so right. Thank you.